Today we've got a special video, something that we've never done before here, but thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to do something new. This is a little bit of a reaction video, a response video, if you were. This is Mark Ferguson, and Mark Ferguson is an Uplander. His YouTube channel is Mark Ferguson's Virtual Real Estate Experience, and it is a fantastic YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, make sure you go over to his YouTube channel. How many times can I say YouTube channel? Hit the like button on all of his videos. If you watch them, they're fantastic. But give him a subscription because he is a fantastic content creator. Interesting, he is in the virtual real estate, but in real life, he is in real estate. So he actually has a real estate channel as well. Fascinating guy. Anyways, he created this video titled Why I Am Not Putting More Money into Upland. And I thought it was a really good video. So much so, passed it up to the team. It has been watched and reviewed. Fantastic feedback. This is exactly the kind of feedback that we like to receive. It's constructive. It's well thought out. He makes some good points, I think, and he just shares his thoughts and opinions and where he's at with Upland right now in the game. Again, I think it's a fantastic video, but I thought we could use this as an opportunity to watch it together and then to maybe address some concerns that I think that Mark Ferguson brings up here in this video. And I think it's worthwhile going through. So we're just going to go watch it together, walk through it together, and we'll respond and hopefully address some of his concerns and maybe some of your concerns as well. Again, Mark Ferguson, Virtual Real Estate Experience. Make sure you go and subscribe to his channel. Fantastic channel. But here we go.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Mark with Mark's Virtual Real Estate Channel. We're back in Upland. I want to do an update on Upland and talk a little bit about putting money into the game, why I'm not putting money into the game and why it's been so long since I've done it, and some things Upland could change that may change my mind in the future, but honestly, I'm not anticipating they will make these changes. So, I'm a real estate investor in real life. I've got over $20 million in real estate.
By the way, can I pause it here real quick? The Globe edition has been amazing. I love it. It's just so smooth. It's like hypnotic. Sometimes I just go to the website and I watch the Globe. It's fascinating. Anyway.
And I do like having fun online, sometimes playing different things. And Upland is the one game I kind of play along with Kingdoms, which just came out with Upland 2. And I made this YouTube channel to kind of go along with that as well, and some other virtual real estate content too. My main YouTube channel is Invest for More, which has all my properties, cars, different things going on there. But I was excited about Upland when I first found out about it because I got excited about virtual real estate a few years ago when everybody was huge on crypto and different things going on. And Upland seemed really cool because it had the same lots as real life and kind of a limited amount of inventory because they only release certain cities at certain times. You could build on properties, you got to rent from them, and there were quite a few people excited about it. So it was really fun for me to be able to buy properties, flip them, and then once I learned about Upland and how the city releases worked, I got really excited because you could buy properties for fairly cheap and then make money right away, hold out for collections. It was pretty fun. And this is one of our lazy nodes, by the way, in Neponsit, which is something we built along with the YouTube channel to just have fun with the community. And we have contests here too. So if you haven't subscribed, now's a good time to subscribe if you want to get involved in those contests.
That's a cool node.
But
that's a cool node.
Upland kind of changed a little bit since then, and that's really why I haven't put much money into it. So how can you put money into Upland? Well,
Hold on real quick. I just want to make this observation. We do see some players with this feedback, like Upland has changed since I first jumped in. And I actually disagree with that assessment. I don't think Upland has changed at all. I think Upland has evolved and will continue to evolve. A lot of games evolve over time, and so has Upland. But our core is still the same. The foundation of Upland is on properties and on real estate, and everything that we do in Upland is focused on that. But yeah, I just a quick clarification. Yeah, I personally think a better term is just evolve. Upland evolves and will continue to evolve.
If we just click on this button on the bottom right here, you can see there are properties for sale with UpX, which is kind of like the Upland currency. And you can also buy, like this property right here, buy properties for dollars. So I could pay $45 directly from my credit card or debit card, I think even PayPal, and there's a few other ways to pay. And that money goes directly into Upland. I buy that property, so I'm putting money into the game. And I could sell that property for dollars as well, or for UpX, which kind of keeps my money in the game too. So I'm not really taking any money out of Upland, but I'm not putting any money into it at the moment. I'm not buying properties for dollars. And the other ways you can put money into Upland is just by simply buying UPIX for dollar amounts. And usually you're better off buying properties because there's a discount on the dollar value versus the UPIX value as compared to just buying direct UPIX from them. And so I did do this when I first started, bought some UPIX, and then I did buy some properties for dollars and sold them to get more UPIX, which was a better bang for my value, bang for my buck. It's probably been almost a year since I've done all that. And the other way I put money into the game was through Spark too. So if I go to my profile here, I've got, that's my properties, not my profile, sorry. If I go to my profile right here, there we go. I've got $4. No, 7.96 Spark.
Solid.
So you get some Spark just by logging on every day, not very much. You can get Spark by doing contests like the Thrifty Trader, which I'll talk about here in a second, or other contests. You can treasure hunt to get Spark, which I don't do. I don't have the time to treasure hunt. I'm not on this all day long by any means. And you can buy Spark as well. So in the beginning, when I first joined up, I was buying Spark during Spark Week. Spark Week went on sale, or Spark went on sale. You could buy Spark, and I probably spent a couple $1,000s buying Spark. So I stopped quite a while ago buying Spark because part of the disappointment in Upland has been the utility of buildings. You can have shops, you can have factories, build some stuff, but it's not like I can just buy this factory and start building stuff right away. I can't use one of my buildings right here and just start a shop and stop selling stuff right away. I've got to apply with Upland, wait for them to approve it, and the chances are it's never going to get approved. I'm never going to be able to sell anything. Back in March, before that, I had applied for a shop here in Neponset. Back in March, Upland gave me an email pretty much saying as it approved, just send them my graphics again. I did. Heard nothing for months and months. And then last month they said, oh, you can apply again if you go to Queens, to the town hall, and submit your graphics again. So I did that. I traveled to Queens, spent money doing that, took my Block Explorer to town hall, applied for my shop, sent in the graphics. That was probably a month ago. Nothing. Again, like it's just really frustrating when they control who gets a shop and there's no communication whatsoever. You have no idea if you're going to be approved. It's just a crapshoot.
Okay, let's pause there because I think there's 2 points here that he went over back to back. The first one, let's take the first one, or rather the latest one, my first one. He talks about MetaVentures, and this I don't disagree with him. It was a painful experience for players. When we launched MetaVentures, there was this bottleneck. You could imagine we got hundreds and hundreds of applications, and at that time the process was all very manual, and so there was a delay, just like Mark Ferguson said there. He didn't hear back for months, and we were also building the system simultaneously to make it more automated and make it a better experience. Then we eventually built the system out so that you could go through city halls, to which he went back through City Hall. And funny, actually, this video dropped, I think, 7 days ago, maybe a week ago. 7 days is a week. What am I talking about? But this video dropped, and the next day he dropped a video saying, "Hey, I got my MetaVenture is approved." It literally was a coincidence. The reason that it got approved is we were still working on that giant backlog of the original applications going through. We actually just finished that backlog last week. And so everybody that originally had applied either at this point has either received an acceptance letter or a rejection letter. And from here on out, everything is handled through City Hall. And the experience is much, much better. It's much, much quicker. It's much more automated. I know that was a frustrating experience, and I don't disagree with him on that. We did learn a lot from this, and we learned a lot of lessons from this, and we'll take those lessons and apply them the next time that we open up a new feature like this. But the experience, again, we're all caught up. So head over to City Hall and apply for a MetaVenture if it's what you'd like. For example, on how much it has improved. Initially, when you applied through like a Google form, and we had to actually go through manually and see, okay, Does this person have the necessary factory, the correct factory for what they're requesting? Do they have all of the correct assets that they need and the amounts that they need in order to be approved? And you can imagine with hundreds and hundreds of applications, that's just not feasible and not scalable. Now, when you go to City Hall, if you don't have, for instance, if you're applying for a factory and you don't have the correct factory built, you can't even apply for that factory. So a much more automated process that we're really excited about and we're happy to have come. So congratulations to Mark Ferguson. He doesn't say it in this video, but his factory did just drop. And you may not believe me, it was a complete coincidence, though. When I saw, I didn't see this till after, 3 days ago, I saw this video for the first time. And then I saw that he got his thing, and it was like, wow, what a coincidence. But congratulations. So yeah, definitely a pain point, and a pain point that we knew existed, and something that has taken us a hot minute, but it has been improved and will continue to improve going forward. So if you're someone that's looking for a MetaVenture now, go ahead, apply at City Hall. It should be pretty seamless and pretty straightforward. So there's that. The other thing that Mark Ferguson talked about here, and I keep saying Mark Ferguson because that's the name of his channel. I could probably just say Mark. The other thing that Mark talked about here is he said he stopped buying Spark because of lack of utility. And I just want to underscore that that Spark is something that is super important to the Upland ecosystem and always will be. So right now with Spark, you can build buildings. Which is utility. Maybe perhaps it's not enough utility for Mark at this time, obviously. But something that we've always talked about and discussed is transportation and racing. Spark will be very involved in all things transportation and racing. And in fact, transportation will be powered by Spark. That's the best way to say it there. And so that's coming. That's coming very soon. The other thing is MetaVentures that we just mentioned. MetaVentures, manufacturing, creating, anything you're creating inside of factories, and these are all, you need Spark in order to create these 3D map assets and stuff like that. And if you think about it, we're just really at the beginning of this factory. We've just got the system in place now for MetaVentures to go more smoothly. And as that improves, we've yet to become super proficient with scaling it, but we're getting there. And once that scales, the value of Spark the value and importance of Spark to the economy, it's going to be unquestionable in my mind. The other thing is there's some things that I wish we could talk about right now, but we just can't. But there's some big things that we're working on with Spark. And when we announce those things, come back to this video and be like, that's what he was talking about, because there's some big things coming with Spark. So very excited about Spark. And I just wanted to underscore the importance that Spark plays in Upland, will continue to play, and something that we're very, very excited about.
And I don't see utility in buildings if that's the way they're going to handle shops. And I've heard from other people who have gotten shops and some who haven't, with the same story where they're told they're going to get one, nothing ever happened, no communication, just nothing. And this is from someone, not that I'm like a huge, massive deal or anything, but I've got a pretty good following on YouTube for just this channel. Almost everyone's just here for Upland. A lot of people watch my videos, and Upland still no communication, no information, nothing at all on my shop, which they said was approved. So it's just crazy that would happen. So there's no reason for me to buy more Spark, spend more money on the game, when I don't see the reason, any big advantage to building buildings, except they look cool. That's pretty much the advantage. So I am still building buildings with the Spark I have.
They do look cool, especially in nodes that are coordinated with colors. There's some nodes out there that people have put in some serious hard work and coordination on, and they look fabulous. What I'm really excited for is, imagine in cities, as MetaVentures and buildings, not buildings, but players are able to create their own objects. Eventually, players will be able to create their own blueprints and design their own buildings. In fact, some of the buildings in the game right now are from players' created blueprints from competitions that we've done and stuff. But imagine just a wide variety in a wide variety of cities, how good that's going to look in the future. I can't wait.
We are still running our contests, and I'm helping people build buildings with the Spark I have. But my building's almost done. Look at that. But it would sure be nice if there's more utility and more things you could do with those buildings. So Kingdoms is actually an offshoot of Upland. If you haven't heard of that, it's really cool. It kind of uses Upland's properties to build like a medieval society where you can build farms and buildings and blacksmiths and different things and utilize them and use them and make goods and do things. And there's no approval process. You don't have to be special to get your shop. Anybody can do it. Everyone has the same rules. So that's one thing that bothers me too in Upland is I don't think everyone plays by the same rules. I think Upland kind of picks and chooses who they want to get those shops and different stuff, and the rest of us just sit here wondering what's going on.
So I do want to clarify that. I can see why Mark would think that, especially with the pain points that existed with MetaVentures. Completely understand where he's coming from there. However, there is no, outside of like a closed beta where MetaVentures did start and Outdoor Decor did start in a closed beta, we do hand select those players in our closed beta. You have to apply, and then we go through and see, do you meet these qualifications? Would you be a good candidate for closed beta? Those are hand selected. Once we come out of closed beta, it's just a process. So like I said before, unfortunately that process was just incredibly bottlenecked. But there is no favors. There is no, hey, I know X1. I can get in. I can get my building before. Nope, not a thing. But yeah, definitely understand why you would think that, but it's just not true.
So if Upland could make it more like Kingdoms and you had properties you could rent and renovate and they built it out like a real estate game, I would probably put more money into it. It would be so much more fun.
So while he's saying that, actually, just talking about like putting more money into Upland, I do want to, there is this thought, and Mark is not making this argument at all. Mark is not this type of player at all. But I did have this thought. We do have some players, and there are some people out there who think that this is how they think of Upland. I'll put money into Upland. I'll go away for a little while. I'll come back, and I'll take my money out, and I'll make all this money. Like, they treat Upland as a passive investment. And if that's how you're thinking of Upland, and once again, Mark isn't, this triggered this thought in me as he's talking about that. If you think of that, if you think of Upland as this passive investment, this is probably not the app for you. Upland is a platform. Upland is a metaverse. Upland is all about creators, entrepreneurs, community, and as a result, the creators, the entrepreneurs, the community builders, the content creators like Mark, these are the most successful players in Upland. Go and look at the most successful players in Upland. It's these types of players. And that's what Upland is about. Creating value, enabling you to create value for yourself and others, elevating your digital life. That is Upland. So if you're someone that's speculating and thinking, hey, I'm just going to come and put in some money into Upland and then I'll come back and it will make money for you. This is not the app for you. This is not what Upland is all about. We're about elevating your digital life through enabling you to create value for yourself and others through community, entrepreneurship, layer 2 development, whatever it is that you're into. He did mention rent here. If players could rent, rent is something that is on our roadmap, has been. I've listened to discussions on rent, how would rent work, stuff like that. So it is something that's on our roadmap. It's just, it hasn't unfortunately hit priority yet. And the reason for that is because he underscores a common critique that we get, like the foundation of Upland is property. Yes, it absolutely is. It always will be. Everything we do does tie into property and location and real estate. Everything we do. Whether it's MetaVentures, cafes are coming, they tie into that as well. But there is this complaint, like, why isn't Upland building up this, this property foundation and building upon it? And it's because we had to he mentions Upland Kingdoms there. We had to we're a small team, we're a small startup team. We had to make a strategic decision. And that strategic decision for us was, do we focus on building up these things, or do we focus on this technology to bring on layer 2 projects? And we made the strategic calculation to focus on building up the technology to bring on these layer 2 projects so that you could have an Upland Kingdom, so that you could have an Uplandia, so that you could have an Upix Park Exchange. And I think that that's the correct strategy, and I think it's going to play out that is the correct strategy long term, because now, instead of the value of your property and the utility of your property and everything just being dependent on us, one small development startup team, all of a sudden, you have all these layer 2 projects that can come in and these third-party developers that can come in, and we'll have 100 Upland Kingdoms. We have 100 Uplandias. We have 100 Upix Spark Exchange. And each one of those will utilize properties and real estate and location in a different way that will only add, in the long run, more value to your properties, more value to your real estate, more utility to all of those things. And so that was the calculation. Now, having said that, bringing these features, such as, for instance, better filter property or better, property management tools, is something that we are planning to do and are looking to do, and we hear the feedback on that. But we did make that calculation and that strategic move, which is why now you have an Upland Kingdoms. We want 100 Upland Kingdoms. We want 1,000 Uplandias and Upix or Spark exchanges and so on. And I'm very excited on that point. On a lot of layer 2s are coming down the pipeline, and some of them are blowing my mind. It's very exciting. It's an exciting time for sure. So I think that's important perspective to say here and reiterate, and completely hear Mark on that. But having said that, he does refer to Upland Kingdoms, and Upland Kingdoms would not exist had we not made that strategic move and decision. And now the sky's the limit, because, like I said, not just dependent on us, the whole world can jump in and build whatever they want on top of Upland, bringing value, utility, and greatness to Upland.
But it's not. So there's that. So that's one part of it, is the Spark side and just building stuff. The other side of it, I guess you could rent your Spark out, but again, that's not something that's appealing to me, is the city releases. So we've had a number of city releases, and when I first joined, I think, I'm just scrolling out, I'm going to scroll back in, the Bronx, was it? The Bronx was, yes, the first city release I participated in. Didn't know what I was doing, kind of learned as much as I could, and just minted a whole bunch of properties. I spent money so I could have Upix to mint those properties, and it was so much fun. Properties were relatively cheap. I was able to sell most of them, make money on most of them. I speculated on collections, missed most of them, but it was so much fun. And then there was Detroit was a ton of fun. Queens was pretty fun. There were lots of fun, big releases. And then LA came along, and I might have those out of order, but LA was fun in the beginning, except when I realized how much money I spent and how expensive it was and how many properties there were. And it's like, oof, I think I just wasted a bunch of money. There's still unminted properties there. And after LA, I think Upland kind of freaked out and said, oh, we can't do full releases anymore. We have to do these partial releases and small releases and limited funds, but we're going to still have really expensive properties. And they went away from the model that was fun for me, which was full releases, cheap properties, lots of collections, lots of speculation, and I don't spend money on getting Upix anymore. If I don't have money for a release, hopefully I sell some stuff beforehand, some properties, but I'm not going to go spend money on Upix. And they've been hinting and talking about Tokyo coming up, but there's no schedule. We don't know when that's going to happen. That's another kind of frustrating thing with it is, all of a sudden one day they're going to announce, oh, FIFA shops are open and we're doing a new World Cup. With no schedule, no idea what is going on around that. No schedule for city releases. Like on the last one, I feel like it was, hey, we're doing a release in 2 days. Good luck. And then it was the Sao Paulo second release, which was so weird to me because it's one of the least smallest, weirdest releases to begin with. And then the second city release, I don't know why I bought so many properties. I thought I had like some special knowledge about a street. Didn't work out. That's okay. But I just don't have any desire to spend money on these weird small releases. London was probably the best release we've had in a while. The first release, and then the second release, everything got crazy expensive again. It's like Upland saw dollar signs, and they're kind of trying to squeeze out as much profit as they can for themselves, and leaves very little meat on the bone for the rest of us who are actually playing. So that's my take anyway. And
so let's talk about city releases here real quick. Mark says, and I agree with him actually. Mark, I hear you. The full city releases, in my mind, are absolutely the most engaging, funnest type of city release that we've done. You've got lots of options. You've got an entire city to explore. What could be a collection? What could not be a collection? You've got multiple price points at that because you've got a whole city, again, to explore. And so ideally, yes, full city releases would, in an ideal world, would definitely be a thing. On the flip side, we do have to manage supply and demand. And it's trying to find, what we're trying to do is find this balance between how do we maximize engagement on a city release versus managing supply and demand. And it's why for a lot of our city releases now, we really look for, is there a strategic partnership that is upcoming on why we should open a city release? How big should this city release be? Stuff like that. So while full city releases would be ideal, they also do have an economic effect on the entire ecosystem of Upland. And so it's this balancing act between managing supply and demand, and then having an engaging city release. Because I mean, city releases, we know for Uplanders, city releases are one of the, if not the most engaging activity for sure. So it's just finding that sweet balance. Now, having said that, we're always looking for ways to make city releases more exciting. We actually had a feedback post over on Reddit where we asked players to leave their suggestions on, hey, what kind of mechanics do you want to see in city releases? How would you like to see it done? And there were some really interesting ideas there submitted that we're looking into and that we're looking at exploring there. So if you have any ideas, by the way, if you're watching this, you have any ideas, anyone on how to make city releases, what features you'd like to see come to a city release, a fun mechanic that you'd like to see, let us know. Let us know in the comments below. So I get it. We hear you, but keep in mind, we are managing supply and demand. If we could open the whole world tomorrow, we would, but it would destroy the entire ecosystem. So we can't. The other thing I do want to correct is when we do a city opening, it's not about, like, we don't look at it and say, what neighborhood should we open that can make us the most money? It's all about that supply and demand. That is just, it's managing that. That is our number one item when we decide what cities to open, what areas of a city to open. Is it going to be a full city release or a partial city release? But again, having said that, let us know any ideas on what type of mechanics, what type of fun mechanics you want to see during a city release. We got a lot of interesting suggestions, like I said, over on Reddit, and we're definitely exploring those. And so you may see some experiments here in the future.
And I don't know, if they had schedules, things weren't constantly breaking, like chat, right? Chat's been broken for how long? Oh, is it working again? Oh my God. Maybe it's working again. Okay, chat was broken for like a week. Now it's finally working.
So I'm in chat every single day. In fact, if you want to get a hold of me, the best place to get a hold of me is in chat, X1 the Gamer, in-game chat. I'm unaware that it was down for a week. I was in every day. But if it is, please let us know. You can let us know writing into support. We'll get that fixed right away. You did mention something there, Mark, about schedules, that if we had stuff scheduled out, you'd like to see a schedule of city releases, events, upcoming sales. We did kind of try to start that over on the events page, upland.me/events. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's a calendar. It really hasn't worked out for us yet there. We haven't gotten ahead enough in order to schedule stuff, but I agree. I think ideally we would have a schedule that you could plan for, you could look at. Now, there would be some surprises in that schedule. There's always going to be some surprises. I actually think surprises are fun in gaming. There are shadow drops all the time. And some of those shadow drops or patches that drop that you had no idea about into a game are some of the funnest things ever. And there's this level of hype and excitement and newness that comes with that. So we'll never not have surprises. But ideally, myself, it is a goal of mine to, yes, get on a calendar and have stuff scheduled out a little bit more. So stay tuned for that. I think we'll get there over time for sure.
Working again. Okay. Well, that's good to see.
By the way, chat is fantastic. Chat is the best place to communicate with other players in the game, and excited for things coming for chat. We're working on some features right now to improve chat, to make chat more engaging, to give functionality inside of chat. It is going to be our priority way of communicating with players. It is already, actually. We will be in-game chat. So,
but there's just been things like that over and over again that aren't done high quality. And they supposedly have a ton of developers, a ton of people working on this, but it really doesn't seem like it. So I'm not trying to be crazy critical and say it's horrible or anything, but those are just some things that could be fixed, and we've talked about it before, and you don't see a whole lot of changes being made. As far as the FIFA thing goes, I know people spend money on those, and I spent a lot of money on FIFA the first go around, and still have a bunch of different stuff, but I can't really sell it, can't do much with it. My shop hasn't been ever approved, so I'm just sitting there with it. So I have no desire whatsoever to join the new FIFA thing. And not only that, it takes a lot of time. So it takes time to buy those things and sell them and do the collections. So I haven't bought one thing. I don't plan to buy anything for FIFA. So honestly, what's been the most fun for me in Upland in the last months and months and months is Kingdoms. And so even though it's not like I'm making a ton of money, it's fun. It's neat to kind of build stuff and sell stuff and grow. And with Upland, that's very hard to know how to do that because there's so little utility for anything.
So I would argue there that Upland Kingdoms is a utility on your properties. I mean, that's how Upland Kingdoms exists. As far as like if there's issues with features, I think Mark hit on that a little bit. It is something, bugs and stuff like that. I think we're always improving. The thing about Upland, look at where Upland is at. We are pioneers. If there's a problem with Upland, what we're doing for the first time anywhere. There's no Google search for that, right? If there's a problem, usually 9 times out of 10, we're the ones creating the solution for it and trying to figure it out. We really are on the cutting edge. I challenge you to go look at any other project. No other project is doing what we're doing with the community and the size and the scale that we're doing it with. We are pioneers. We're paving the way here. And so with that, there is going to be some hiccups as we, create the new technology to deal with different things. Mark mentioned that his first jump into city releases was Brooklyn. Brooklyn city release compared to, for instance, LA city release. City releases is we used to be a pain point for us, but we worked on the technology and got it to this point. City releases are mostly smooth. City releases back in the day, there's so many people minting all at the same time. That's all going to the blockchain. There was a lot of technical issues there. That's something that we had to work through and improve. Now city releases, it's the expectation that they run smoothly because we figured out that technology. City releases are much improved. Support ticket turnaround, I think, is an example where we've improved as well. Now that's not cutting edge necessarily. That's just catching up as we grow as a company, and we had rapid growth, which means we had a time where we had to catch up with that rapid growth. Over just the span of a few months. So support tickets, they used to sit for a little bit before we could respond to them. Now 99% of all of our support tickets get responded to and resolved within that 24 to 48 hour window. There's an area that we have improved on as well. Director block explorers, if you remember, director block explorers used to, this may have been before Mark's time, but for those of you watching, director block explorers, when we first dropped them, was a lot like MetaVentures, where it would take a long time to get them. And then it was this back and forth, and we just didn't have the system built out for that. We now have the system and processes built out for director block explorers. It's pretty automatic and pretty smooth and very quick turnaround time on block explorers. And think about how many hundreds of people at a time are requesting new director block explorers. It's quite a feat that we're taking something custom and creating it for a player. Name a game out there that does that. Name a game that does that. It's very hard. That's a huge, we're pioneering that field of taking a request from a player and generating that request custom for them to then own for themselves. And so that's a place that has definitely improved there, as well as I just mentioned the MetaVenture applications improved process there as well. That was a pain point. We're pretty much past that pain point now, and now it's just going to be ramping up that and scaling it out. But yeah, and then I think another thing I think Mark mentions here, Upland Kingdoms, he loves it. He loves it. He's not really into legits though, and that's something as well that not everything in Upland is going to be for everyone. There are going to be some things that you don't like and some things that you really do like. Some people don't like Upland Kingdom. Some people prefer Uplandia. Some people don't like Uplandia. Some people prefer legits. Some people don't like any of that, and they're here just for racing and the future of racing and collecting cars and transportation. And that's fine. That is the metaverse. That is Upland. Upland, again, is going to have a lot of things that you might not like to do, and then they'll have a lot of things that you do like to do. And the person next to you, your neighbor, will have a lot of things that they like to do, and it might not be the same things that you like to do. So that's the future of Upland, and the future is bright. I'm getting on a tangent. Let's continue.
Cars they brought on. There's really no utility for cars. That's why they're not selling, and the value's tanked on those. So
cars are every car sale that we've had. Correction there. Every car sale. I don't know if he's talking about the secondary market or what he's talking about there, but every car sale that we have has sold out. Now I have seen comments like, "Look, they're not selling out as fast as they used to." The reason for that is we are getting more registrations than ever before on car sales. And so every time, let's say, for instance, 1,000 people register for a car sale. Every person is put into a line. That line, you get your opportunity to buy a car for, I don't know, a few minutes. Let's just say it's a minute even. That's going to take some time to get through that line to give everybody an opportunity to purchase. And so that's why those car sales are happening slower. That didn't always used to be the case. That we get more registrants for car sales than we've had. So there's that.
So it would just be super nice if they focused on real estate, made most things about real estate, and really gave us a lot of different things to do on real estate. And that's my opinion anyway. So, I don't know how I got there, but anyway, speaking of FIFA World Cup, I do like Kingdoms. I do think it's fun. I think there's ways to make money there, but again, I have lots of other stuff I'm doing in real life, so I can't spend all my time doing that. And hopefully Upland improves and does things a little better. Hopefully the new releases are a little bit better and not just kind of haphazardly thrown together, which it seems like they have been lately. And I guess we'll just see what happens from there. So love to hear what you guys think. If you've got suggestions, ideas for Upland. I know some people, developers do watch my videos sometimes as well. They've commented before. And maybe at some point we'll get back to kind of the core of what really made it a lot of fun and brought so many people in. Maybe not. I guess we'll find out. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll have more videos coming up here. We'll have more contests for the Lazy Nodes and Naponzit and Henry Ford and help more people with their builds too. And I'll have more content on Kingdoms as well. And yeah, thanks a lot. Be back soon.
And there you go. That's Mark Ferguson, guys. I do want to just kind of finish. He finished on, would be nice if they got back to their core. Properties is always, I just want to reiterate, properties is always our foundation. Properties and real estate. And I think Mark at the beginning of this said Upland has changed. I don't think Upland has changed at all. I would argue we have evolved and we will continue to evolve. Just like Dirk likes to use the analogy, one of our co-founders, Dirk, that the metaverse is like television. And that you flip around the channels and you stop on, I stop on Lifetime and I'm like, who wants Lifetime? Who's watching this dumb channel? And then I switch over to Fox Sports, for instance. And the person that likes Lifetime is like, I don't watch sports. I don't want Fox Sports. And switch over to, give me some Lifetime. Some of those Lifetime dramas. But they're all housed inside television, right? Inside your TV. And that is the metaverse. It's going to continue to grow. We're going to get more and more channels, but that doesn't mean that we go away from our core. Properties, location, real estate, that is our core. Upland Kingdoms takes advantage of property, real estate, and location. That's the core of that game. Uplandia does the same thing. Ubix Spark Exchange. As we get more of these layer 2s, they're just going to be able to layer over the top of the foundation that we've created here, the core of our game, which is property, location, and real estate. Racing is going to be a big thing. Transportation is going to be a big thing. And so that's our foundation, and that's what brings value. That will just bring value and continue to bring value to your properties long term, especially as that scales up. Imagine hundreds of different varieties of games and types. Your properties, the value will be there. Not to mention cafes, 3D in-home experiences. As Spark evolves, the sky is the limit at this point. The taking off my Upland hat, and a lot of players will say like, "Oh, that's X1. He works for Upland. He has to say this. He's political. He has to say this or he'll get fired." I don't have to say this. I can just leave it at this. But I'm going to say this: I genuinely have never been more excited about Upland than I am today. Everything just seems it's starting to come together, and the pieces are starting to fit. Not to mention the things that we're working on in the background that will be announced soon amazing. And I can't wait for it all. And so it would be nice if they got back to what made it fun. I would argue that we've never gotten away from it. We did make a strategic decision with developing out our layer 2 technology to bring on third-party developers and layer 2 projects. But Upland is evolving. Upland has not changed. Just like Amazon's foundation, it was founded on books. It was a bookseller. Now they're in Amazon Prime. Now they sell everything under the sun. You've got FBA. They're into video games. Amazon Web Services is huge, right? They're in that game as well. But they still sell books. Books was their core. Books was their foundation, and they evolved from there. And that's exactly, I think, what is happening with Upland. The vast majority of features that we work on serve real estate, whether that's building, whether that's layer 2 projects, whether that's cafes that are coming, transportation, racing, the whole shot. So very excited. Again, Mark Ferguson, if you see this was a fantastic video. Thank you very much for sharing your feedback here. It has been passed along. I personally enjoyed going through it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity for making this video to respond and hopefully to address some concerns and just at the very least provide you with a perspective of Upland and where we're at and what we're working on and how we view things. So appreciate it. Again, guys, if you haven't, Mark Ferguson's Virtual Real Estate, go check out the channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. Make sure you like it, subscribe, like it. Go like that video, but make sure you subscribe to his channel. Also, if you like this video, let me know. Let me know if you'd like to see more of these. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys in Upland.